Welcome, people of the life, light, and the dark. Tonight we are discussing a people so concerned with winning, but are in all actuality are losing. A people so concerned with winning, but in all actuality they are losing. They give you time to make you think something has changed. But there is no progression amongst, amongst the wicked at heart. But nothing has changed, not even their game. The only thing that has changed is you. But you don't even know that you changed. Many times you refuse to see your truth, your own truth. Because thinking that this is real feels better. You get more from it than you would, at least in your mind. But in all actuality, it's an illusion. It's nothing, the nothingness. It is the nothingness. Unless you have given in to the beast and their trickery of light, you have changed unless you have given in to the beast and their trickery of being a light, of being what you should should strive to be. You think in your mind that you should strive to be more like that beast, but you don't know it as a beast. You see it as a god. You see it as what it has introduced itself to you as. And the visage that it carries in your mind that has you stuck. The pale female can never be your ma. The pale female can never be your ma. But you turned around and make her a surrogate ma for your seeds. She has not that capability as you think, my brothers. Because the ma is your heart, your soul, and your mind, which she seeks to destroy and has been successful at destroying. All of that, and you have produced children for her to do the same thing again. And then you hear, forgive them for they know not what they do. That gives a clear meaning of that. They have fallen for the trickery of demons who walk amongst us, the righteous. Your Christ is what is supposed to save you, but it can't, because you got too much clouds and fogs and distractions and things that are tempting you and telling you to persuading you to the persuasion, swaying you to go their way. And then you're anxious to impress them that you finally been able to produce one of them. So you fit in and you get in, you got in. Your Christ cannot save you if you're not with your Christ. Enlightenment is your Christ. Your enlightenment, which they seek for you not to reach. I see them scratching and I see them pulling you down. You cannot rise. They refuse to allow you to rise. And this is not just me saying it. It's evidence. They've said it. It's been what did he say? It's like a history of permanent white oppression. A history of permanent white oppression. And people kill me when they get this thought that poor white people are there to make you feel like you're not alone. That's exactly why they're there. And then you say, well, it's not about black and white. But yet your condition is still the same. And those poor white people know that they are better than you. So do you think your soul is the whole reason, or do you think you're equal to the illusionary image of you? Do you think that you're equal? If so, then you will follow what you think you're equal to. You would want to be like what you think is equal to. So you would want to give up your soul for that illusion because you think it is real, and it's not. It's not. Okay. He said that black man will never rise. Okay. Let me get his name here. He said the black man cannot rise. But in all actuality, he's saying the feminine essence, the feminine energy that is here now. They're holding down. It's you and me. So it's greater than what we see. It's way greater than what we see, but doesn't mean that it's not black and white. It's always going to be black and white because that's the symbol representation of the spiritual, what's going on in the spiritual. You have low energy and you have high energy. You can transform into a low level energy, or you can transform into a high energy. You can move on to a higher altitude, or you can linger low down below. That's your choice. And the thing about it is, you don't even know that's your choice. That's why they say, forgive them, for they know not what they do. They've been misguided. They've been misled. They've been in a fog. They do not know who or where they are. They want you on their level. But it's so hard to see about that. What's so hard for you to see about that? If your time has changed and we are in 2020, read and write me this. Why have you recognized the conditions you have us in, pale man, when it's convenient for you, but not beneficial for us in any way as Black Americans? Let me get this one. Did I get in there twice? Read and write me this. Why have you recognized the conditions you have us in when it's convenient for you, and not beneficial in any way as for us as Black Americans? So that we won't have to live at the mercy, if that was such a concern. But no, the whole plan is that we do stay at the mercy. The whole plan is that we're at the mercy. Because as long as we're at the mercy, there's an element of control. And I'll go back to J. Edgar Hoover when he said what he had said. Black man will never rise, 1960s. We can't allow it. But now we're amongst, hey, Guy Nollywood Jr. Hey, how you doing? Welcome. So now we have to be in a situation where we're at the mercy of control hungry demonics. And who need a bottom class and always needed a bottom class. And you know, the heavens above know the difference. You can go to your little churches. You can get into all kinds of religion. I don't care who you are. Get into all these religions and think that it's a cover. It doesn't hide your heart. Your heart is already written upon. You cannot wash away what is evident. It's too late. You lost. You are not winners. You're winners of your own minds. Of nothing. Winners of nothing. You're winners of murdering people. You're winners of taking land from the innocent. The most loving people on the planet. The most sharing people on the planet. The less caring about what you look like. The less caring about your state. The most accepting. You have taken from God. Because you have taken from gods and goddesses, your heart is already known. You're already written upon. You're already in the book as the wicked. There's no erasing that, especially when you're born in it. You're of your father's blood. And you're born in it. And you act upon it. Soulless acts upon the been soulless. Those of souls are the ones who are at the mercy of those who want to take their souls. So if we didn't have anything, you wouldn't have anything you want from us. You wouldn't have a need for us. But because we have everything more greater than anything on this planet, you put us in this condition and you seek to steal it from those who don't know what they have, from those who don't know themselves and know what they have. The blind. You use the blind. You take advantage of the blind. You give them identities. You give them, you give them occupations to keep them occupied and to make them feel important. You give stars the thought that they're high up in the sky and shining. You give a falsehood of what is real, but can't be obtained. You've done this. You've destroyed the innocence time and time again. You can't even do civilization. Because if you could do civilization, then there would be no reason. There would be no reason for any destruction. Hold on. That's what you're winners of. You're winners of destruction. And yay, congratulations. You really are the greatest destroyers of everything, of nature, of the world around, of life. The greatest destruction, the greatest destructors of everything. The greatest destructors. And that's something to rejoice over because, you know, without destructors, without being able to identify or see it, you don't know the greatness. You would never know the greatness. You wouldn't know what was great and what was not. What is a natural, the natural, I want to say, let me look up this word. Well, who has the natural ability to act in that way, and who doesn't have that natural ability to act in that way? It's too evident, and it goes along with the hidden science that we can't see. It just goes along with that. That's how you know that that we're living a symbol of the spiritual, what goes on in science, chemically, biologically, and otherwise. That's why I say it should be evident that the condition, if this was a science experiment that we were in, you could say the group without greatly affects the group with, because it gravitates to the group with for life. For life. Sucking what the group with needs for its life from it, and creating a weakness in that group, because that other group without needs to thrive off of what the group with has. It needs to act as a parasite and keep that thing in a condition that is conducive for it to suck the living life from and eventually kill. Eventually kill. But many are tricked by what this particular parasite has created. And the same thing happens within the body. When we have what they call cancer, whatever that is that's attacking that cell and deteriorating that cell, those cells in the body, and that particular organ, has created an environment for that organ to fall and be on that bottom so it can live and feed off of that and drain the living life out of that organ. So you're right where you need to be scientifically as a group with nothing. You do nothing. And by do nothing, it means you cannot function without the group that has everything or something. You have to go in and change that cell to be your identity. That cell is no longer healthy, it's a cancer. That's its identity. And this is just science, but people want to say black and white has nothing to do with it. Black and white is the symbol of what to do with it. Black and white is your sign. They can't tell you any more than they've told you since 200 and something years now. They can't tell you any more than what they've told you for 200 years now. There's no more they can tell you. But they also come as light and try to persuade you otherwise, but you fall for it. Light where there's no light. That's when our wisdom kicks in. That's when our wisdom kicks in and we're fighting. That's when you have them white blood cells coming and attack those parasites and kill them off. Kill them off. Because you recognizing yourself is under attack and you want to be connected with yourself. You don't want to be split any longer from who you are. You want to know who you are. You don't want to live in ignorant bliss and allowing the cell to be attacked any longer. You want to go in and attack the parasite that keeps you and won't allow you to flourish, allow you to rise. Evident in science. Yeah, you're supposed to be in this condition. You're in this condition so you can see. So you can wake up and see. This is your condition that is supposed to be there. Just like when cancer is attacking its cell and living off of that cell as a parasite, that cell is supposed to recognize itself eventually and have its innermost self come to the rescue and start attacking that parasite back in ways that says, no, you cannot live here any longer. You cannot be here. You don't have no place here. You and your lies. You have no place here. Destroy the whole environment of that thing. of that parasite so it can no longer live here. And move it on out. Ship it on out. Flush it from the body. You can no longer be here. You no longer have a home in this cell. Move on out entirely from the body. That's what you're supposed to recognize about yourself. That's how you save yourself. That's how the Christ rise. This is how the Christ rise. The Christ just don't stay in its condition. If something has turned you out from what you were born to be, you should recognize that and see how it's destroying you and your community. And you should say, I want better. I'm greater than this. I'm greater than this, tearing me down, turning me into something I'm not. I'm greater than downing my sisters and saying that something that is against what I am, my whole entire being, my heart, my soul, my mind, is better than my sisters. Because I'm under a falsehood, I'm under a lie. Or saying that I'm a star on this planet when I know I'm a star elsewhere. I'm too great to be a star on this planet. My stardom is greater than someone else's control. I'm not their shining star. I am the shining star. I am a star. I'm not locked in control of anything on this planet. Especially the parasites that are sucking everything. Then I'm just a shining star just so they can suck and benefit off of my back. I'm a shining star elsewhere, naturally. Naturally. I'm in this condition, a torn up condition, a dysfunctional condition, because I am supposed to eventually recognize myself and see that I've been pulled down to a state that I need to rise from, that I'm supposed to rise from, I'm supposed to heal from, I'm supposed to grow from and progress on forward. Because there are some things that want you to stay damaged. They want you to stay damaged because it benefits them when you're damaged. If they can't rise, you can't rise. They want you to be that low energy. They want you to lose like they're losing. And many have. Many chose to hand over their souls and flourish in the low energies and not rise above what they know and use their own magic, use their own powers. Because we have powers, we have magic. Unknown, unseen. Unknown and unseen. Unknown and unseen. Because we perceive magic as a certain way. We perceive power a certain way. But what we don't think of it as, we give power on a constant basis to the powerless. And we see them as power because we give power to the powerless. They wouldn't be powerful if you didn't make them powerful. But this is what we do. This is what we do. And I just wanted to share this video and discuss this video really quick. It's and then I'll probably close out after this. But I want to share, I just wanted to talk about this Bobby Hemmett video because I thought it was very fitting. And this is Bloodline of Sekhmet. And I'm going to discuss it and stuff.
Tell a tree by the fruit it bears. I don't want to sound cliche-ish, but I mean, she brought me here the last 5 times.
Oh, one thing I was missing to say. Because you're supposed to recognize your condition that you're in, because it's your journey. It's your journey. And your journey has been destroyed. Your journey, your path on your journey has been deterred. Not necessarily destroyed, but you've been deterred from your path. So being that you've been deterred from your path, you have the opportunity in your life. You have the opportunity in your life to get on the right path. You have the opportunity to be the warrior in your life and fight and rise that Christ up. Rise that Christ up and overcome the wickedness that is enjoying and laughing at your condition and calling you all kinds of things. But they're losers. They're losers. So you don't have to worry about that. Because the fact they sit back and they destroy you and they laugh about it and all that, they're losers. Sorry, losers. It's your path. Get on your right path.
Like what people say, that alone, and not just me, she brought Brother C3 Manel, Phil Valentine, Azariah, who else?
Audra Scott,
and Myra Moss. So that alone means that's the value. Sometimes we look at other things, and try to, things that shine, things that appease us as far as material. You see, whether someone appeases us or stroke our ego, but that's the main thing. If a person is doing the legwork and doing the actual job. Now, I'm not necessarily saying she didn't have help with some people in the community, but the point I'm trying to say here is you got to go above what's physical and judge that spiritual spark and that light that does that. And we got people, like I said, we got people all over the country that do the same thing. And we must say this particular part, and I do know just about 90% of the people who do this work, they always go under financially by doing this. So this is a labor of love, but it's a labor of importance. And I don't know of anybody who literally gains financially by bringing these things. So for that alone, you should say, hey, you take your hat off to the Sister Sonora for that form of sacrifice. So I want you to give her a black hand. And it's major in every place. I've been doing this for 14 years now. It'll be 14 years in June. And every place I go, and I have met people over the years. There's a whole other crew of people who was doing this in the 90s that went under. Some of them dead. You know what I'm saying? And then there's a whole crew that was doing this in the early 2000s that's actually went under as far as not being able to maintain things, especially with their stores, especially with whatever they was trying to do in the community, with either books or with selling products or whatever, trying to keep things afloat. So therefore, you got to understand that that is a big sacrifice. When you see people is bringing conscious people, it's not necessarily for the finances. And even if they think they're doing it for the finances, they will soon find out. This shit needs straight to the poorhouse. You see what I'm saying? So we want to thank her for the last 5 years of doing this. Now, to move right along, we're going to jump right in this thing. We're going to jump right in this. One aspect that I want to say before this is, before I lose this in the context of the lecture is the roles have shifted. We now have to understand this on a metaphysical level. Your children and the youth are now the non-innocent because of what I mean by that is the government has come in and they have put hardship within the entertainment, what music they listen to, what movies they listen to. They have put all this hardship in the particular aspect of this hostile ego nature into the point where they have to grow up fast and become hard and brittle at age 8. As soon as they can analyze a little bit, they have to become hard, defensive, and go to school and this hostile living. So your children now are not the innocent ones. That means that we as, especially conscious, but we're not talking about the masses, we as rational beings, we have to become the innocent ones. What I mean by that is, literally, we have to become like children. Now, what do you mean by that? Well, I'm going to get into this particular science, because this is the god Horus and the god Heru. And literally, we have to find whatever that innocence is. You see what I'm saying? Whereas we don't judge. That's one of the keys. We don't judge. You see? So over the last 3, 4, 5 years, I stopped judging gay people. I stopped judging all different. I stopped judging the people that's what we call a quote-unquote quintessential asshole. I stopped judging them because remember now, the most arrogant of us are the most displaced and messed up disposition of us, if that's a word, is the most incomplete. So in so many words, you should feel sorry for people that's obnoxious.
That's right.
Who wants to be obnoxious? We are becoming super people and superhumans, and this brother right here is coming in. The King is a great example. Brother Jamal,
Right.
Ashe, we're going to get into that type of thing. Brother went through an ordeal, but then again, if you're on the frequency and if you are, the brother was shot in the head, and if you are on the frequency, nothing can take you out, because that's the Superman. And it's ironic this brother is a living example of the actual information that I'm getting ready to give today.
That's
and
right.
It's interesting here because when this happened, right before Christmas, we went to work. I got under the, you can do magic, and there's a science to it. I got under the headphones, and I got on a real receiver. So there's magic and stuff because they getting rid of a lot of stuff, and I got under them LPs because it can't be done no other way. It can't be done with the hologram with us, which is a CD. Now, you know what I'm saying? Now unless you get you a real good equalizer. I'm going ahead of myself. But you can work magic. And as a result, I went into the spirit realm and I started healing and for a brief moment, but the person that did a lot of the work was Sister Sonura. Because she was on the case, you see what I'm saying? Long after I did what I had to do daily. So with some things that actually happened, but then again, on the other hand, the brother's spirit, you see what I'm saying, that's a God.
That's right.
Get the movie Unbreakable and understand that although they had Bruce Willis as the white boy, remember he was the frail face and weak bone as a lot of say. It was actually Samuel L. Jackson who was the actual Unbreakable. They just had the roles reversed. But if you look at that movie, you will see Samuel L. Jackson sitting in front of some hieroglyphic stuff that looked like this. You go back and look at that movie. That meant they showed you who was the Unbreakable one. You see some hieroglyphic stuff, and ironically, we're going to talk about this actual hieroglyphic thing today in this particular one. So I'm going ahead of myself, but my point here is that's evidence that we're unbreakable. You see what I'm saying? So we'll get back into that, but you know what I'm saying? I'm glad to see the brother rise, and the brother's going to have full recovery because I already saw it in the spirit realm. So now, before we get into all that, we need to jump off and give to God some because I don't think it's a coincidence because it's nothing for them because they have intelligence. I'm talking about the government. And you best believe that they are only focusing on in America what we are doing. Not the ignorant.
Thank you.
You see what I'm saying? You know, not the stuff that you see on TV, but what we are doing, us mediocre so-called humans, black people in these communities, we're the only thing going. So therefore, it's not in a Masonic town like this when a flyer comes out and says, the bloodline of Satan, what's up with our DNA? You see what I'm saying? Don't think that in actuality that that Bush is above coming into this town and doing a ritual the day before so that they can offset some energy. But we are on a whole nother higher plane. You see what I'm saying? So therefore, we can't be touched on this thing. We're on a higher plane. But one of the keys as far as your protection now is you have to become innocent. You have to become childlike. Whatever it is that, you know, whether you do some cartwheels or chew some bubble gum, get you some sherbet, some popsicles, or you know, some gingerbread cookies, or whatever it takes for you to recapture that part of your youth when you were young, you're going to have to do it. The worst thing we could have done was get proud of saying, I'm grown. You see, it was interesting because I was a freshman in college and I met this brother from Harlem. And he was a lot older than me. And he'd gone to college. He was like 5 years old when he was a freshman with me. And he'd gone through some real hardship. And he went to school. He was a freshman in college. And he came down to my hometown in South Carolina, spend the summer with me and some other people he met. And I said, man, I'm grown. You know, I'm fucking 19. Didn't know my ass from holding it. I'm grown. He said, man, never say you grown. Say you growing. And at that particular time, he might have not knew what it was, but he knew that we didn't know nothing. You see what I'm saying? And I remember, I always say this, I remember I was and I talked about this on my lecture. I was at Benedict College in South Carolina, HBCU, a black college. And I was down there, and I was standing on the campus, and the coach was saying, man, you went to school, you're college educated, how do you feel? I'm looking at him and I'm like, I don't feel nothing. I don't know nothing. Because them fools just rip you off, take your money.
Thank you.
They didn't teach me how to get out that damn front door. Only thing they teach you is to get dependent on a school loan and to go get whatever job they want you to get. You see what I'm saying? And train you on that particular level. But that's not a real education is not allowed. This is the only education there is. You see what I'm saying? The only education that there is. The point they taught me how to dress a little better. You see what I'm saying? But I didn't have to spend damn $5,000 a year at that time to learn how to put on a certain suit. But I'm just trying to say here is it was culture for service. That's what one of the motto at Clark Atlanta that I went to. Culture for service. We giving you a culture to serve somebody else. But the point I'm trying to make here is we have to become innocent. So now we're not talking about shirk your responsibility as an adult. We talk about a psychological thing. We talk about a psychological thing to get back in touch with that child, that kid that you used to be having. Because you've been sad since you became an adult in a world like this. Gotta get up and go to work or whatever type thing he is and shell out.
That's not very hard to do, family. What he's talking about is going back to the thinking that was conducive to your existence. When you were younger, things like utilizing your imagination. You may have played in a certain area that stimulated you to your thought process in a way that was powerful, that was that you could utilize. I often do that. I think it's natural for us to do that. It may be harder for some. But let me holler at the chat real quick. Welcome, Guy, Donnie, that guy from Texas. I hope you all understand what I'm trying to explain about the imagination. I'm going to let Bobby finish what he was talking about on that so you can better understand it.
Dollars in a pursuit and acquisition of wealth, which is slavery. Now I'm talking about an adult whereas you don't even need no money. Something that you used to do as a child that you used to like. I'm going ahead of myself, but there's a whole nother fairy realm, a mystical spiritual realm. And we got access to it, but you can't come with the ego and the person that you have become. You see what I'm saying? The last 30, 40, 50, 60 years. It has to be that particular person before somebody got to us and made us into monsters. When we were young, you see what I'm saying? And we didn't judge on a certain level. You get where I'm coming from here? I'm going ahead of myself, and I don't want this to sound like this is this brother, he's reaching for straws. No, there's some science behind what I'm dealing with here. But we talk about getting back to that inner child. That's the key. You see what I'm saying? If you can do that and all, you can work magic. You see what I'm saying? Where you don't worry as much. So we have to become an optimistic freak. You see what I'm saying? Whereas, and I know it's a lot of strenuous things, but it's even this, we celebrating this goddess Lakshmi. The goddess Lakshmi, see if I got the overlay of the goddess Lakshmi, which is the goddess of wealth and prosperity. The goddess of wealth and prosperity. This is the goddess Lakshmi, which is connected with Sekhmet, which is the goddess of wealth and prosperity. Let's see. Hold up. Now, what I do is I work the lights, and I do all the work. But see what I'm saying? You know this is an ancient sister. That wealth and that prosperity comes when you stop worrying about money and finance. So what do they say? A sister told me about 10 years ago. She was channeling from the spirit realm. She said, follow knowledge and money will run to you. Follow money and money will run from you. You never get on top of money. You don't think so? It's something called a mailbox. As soon as you think you got shit paid off, you walk out to the mailbox, here's another bill. So this is a never-ending story to keep you trapped forever.
Instead of you being attracted to money, make money attract to you.
So don't worry about it. You see what I'm saying? Don't worry about it. You see. So in dealing with this,
you are real and money is superficial. It's artificial. So you're real. Things need to attract to you.
We have to become like children. I have made a career out of this shit. Especially when it comes to not worrying about finances and stuff. See, because I can't really worry about what I never had. But I do all right now in the sense that I don't worry about a certain amount of things, and things work perfect. Now, moving right along, what we want to do is we want to put a strong libation, get the energies. And the reason why we want to do that, we got the strong, this is 151, so Bacardi, so we got some strong stuff for the spirit. Some of y'all know about this. You didn't, your headache did. They even got this thing even has a little grill funnel on it. They say, don't pour that much. We want to pour some of this and stuff to offset these rituals that are done. You understand what I'm saying? And we're going to go into some of this particular science. I got a TV up under here and a VCR. I'm going to show you some other things on one of the major things that happened with Katrina was with those babies that people can't find. We're going to go into the process on what happened to them and all of that. You see what I'm saying? So, another thing we're going to have to start doing is like I said, you can't throw the baby out with the bathwater, which means you're going to have to use everything. Quran, Bible, Torah. That's just the religious aspect. We're not talking about advanced metaphysics, but you're going to find the keys to all of this stuff. As you see what I'm saying, you have to use all. Here's a good book called Armageddon Now. This white guy here is a comparative study at some major university. It's called Armageddon Now, The End of the World from A to Z by Jim Willis and Barbara Willis. And what made me get this, I said, I've seen this stuff here before. And I picked the book up, and it's interesting. The page, this was in Borders bookstore, and the page turned to, you can't see it, a picture of Marcus Garvey. And they talk about his prophecies and what he said about looking for him in the whirlwind. And they got a whole Ethiopian prophecy. And then I looked in the back in the page turn where he was talking about Gerald Massey and Alvin Lloyd June and Albert Churchward. I'm like, oh shoot, this white boy here. And this couple here, they into some stuff. And I know now, since most of the stuff in the Bible is taken from ancient scripture, before it became, it was an editing job. So a lot of the stuff out of the Library of Alexandria that was hoarded by the Greeks and the Romans became an editing fiasco to put together these volumes of books. Ending up with the King James Version. So even we know that the Book of Revelation comes out of Persia. And you can get the Persian Book of Revelation in a book, J.R. Bierlin book, Parallel Myths. And I said, because I heard Gerald Massey talk about it. He said, well, Book of Revelation came from Persia. And it came from Persia, so it's older than most of the material in the Bible. And the Persians got it from out of the Library of Alexandria with Cambyses in there, raiding Kemet. So I knew this, and I said, well, I would rather see this a Persian apocalypse that he's talking about. And years later, J.R. Bierlin's book, Parallel Myths, I think it's J.R. Bierlin, parallel myths. They got the Persian apocalypse in there, and I was reading this, and I said, man, they shamelessly ripped this thing off. They didn't change. It was like damn near word for word. You see what I'm saying? So I'm just trying to say even the revelation in these scriptures, because they are older scriptures, they're Egyptian in origin, we need to deal with all of that. You see what I'm saying? We need to get down with all of that. You see what I'm saying? So we're going to get into some of that. Here's another book that we're going to be dealing with. Some stuff that's happening. This is called The Ancient Egyptian Books of the Afterlife by Eric Hornig. Eric Hornig, H-O-R-N-U. That's Hornig, Hornig. That's what it is. It's German. Eric Hornig. H-O-R-N-U-N-G. H-O-R-N-U-N-G. And this is stuff that I think came out in like 99, which is key because we're going to show what this stuff is actually talking about. These books of the afterlife, and when you go and you see those particular things, what they call the Egyptian Book of the Gates, and you see all of these monsters and these particular things, they're actually talking about the cells in your body. We're going to get into this thing. And we're going to get into this. And I was talking to Charles Finch, and he said, yeah, this is a guy, he's an old Egyptologist, and he's seen a lot of stuff. So this is one of these books. We're going to get into that. I'm going ahead of myself. But this particular book, like I said, Armageddon Now, by Jim Willis and Barbara Willis, is an excellent book. It's an excellent book, and it just came out in 2006. So we want to see what they're talking about. You're going to have to gather all these things, all these prophecies, and all these things. All this stuff is nothing but stuff that came from out of the Library of Alexandria. And basically the Egyptians fed the world with all these scriptures and these things. And whether it's 1,000 years or 100 years after Kemet or whatever, it's still nothing but just retold stories of the same Egyptian or Camite or African myths. So we got to grab all of it. We can't throw the baby out with the bathwater and stuff like that. You see what I'm saying? And it's interesting how the white boy does it. Because he calls it chaos magic. He said, well, we got all those black people stuck in culture. So we got the Moors over here arguing, we got the Hebrews arguing, we got the Christians arguing, we got the Yoruba arguing, we got the Santeria, we got the Dogon, we got these Egyptian groups over here, you see what I'm saying? We got Sumerian this and all this, and they say, look, we are not from any of that. While they are still separated by their own traditions, we'll gather all those traditions together and study them all. You see what I'm saying? Because it's interesting because they are not the origin of these things or the authors of these things. They get the benefit of studying them without being stuck in these cultures. Right. You see what I'm saying? That's right. And stuck in things that we know is all over the world. It's all our stuff. So people say, damn, Bobby, you're doing a lot of East Indian stuff and you're doing all this here. What happened to the Kemet thing? I'm like, we are more than just one continent. Thank you. You see what I'm saying? Now, we laid the foundation with that, but Ivan Van Sertima, a series of books, African presence in Asia, African presence in Europe, African presence in America. You understand what I'm saying? So, if I give you some Chinese shit, you know it's black. That's right. So why trip? Right. That's right. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? Because they said, you was doing Kemet. I said, I did Kemet for 10 years. Why should I come back and give you the same stuff that I did 10 years? I'm a researcher. I'm not a lecturer. I'm not a theologian to come in and give you the same story every damn week or year after year after year. I'm a researcher. I'm not, you see what I'm saying? So I got to research other things. I said, next time I'm going to be doing some yin-yang stuff. You see what I'm saying? Because it's all of our things. That's right. You see what I was watching a movie. It's on cable now, Vanity Fair. Reese Witherspoon. It came out in 2004. It's on cable now, Vanity Fair. Some say record this movie. And it's all about white folks in the 17th century and 18th century and how they view everything based on who family had money. And you get cut off, you went down to the bottom. It was a caste system. And they said, now these are the same elite people that's ruling you now, and this is the way they think. Yes, that's right. Yes. You see what I'm saying? This is the way they think. One woman loved this sister Reese Witherspoon. She was a governess, and she loved her. Moved her in, was paying her bills, had her in the house. She loved it. They could find. But soon as she fell in love with the woman's son, she cut the son off and threw her out, threw them all out. You see what I'm saying? Because it's a caste system. You see, so this is something. So the Spirit was like, look, you need to see this movie because these are the people. Where did these people go? These snobbish British psychopaths.
Yes.
Right. Where did they go? These are the global elite now that rule you, so you need to see their origin.
That's right.
You see what I'm saying? So, you need to see Sense and Sensibility. And all these particular things here, and see the mentality on what these global elite, because these are the people that's ruling you now. You see, they got another one, Elizabeth II, coming on HBO. And this is how you get to see the mindset of world sociopath, or race of sociopath. A sociopath says they can do what they want to you as long as they can justify it in their sick mind. It can be the wickedest excuse ever. They can live with it. And they can think that they're right all the time. That's a sociopath. And we know of sociopathic individuals that they call mass murderers and all kind of people like this. But what we don't realize is we're talking about a whole race of sociopaths. If they only see them as being the head and the authority of everything, and every other culture is a subject, then that means that they are, over the years, okay, we have done ample amount of studies on our effect of slavery, colonization, or what have you. And we know the effects of our psychological condition. We got volumes of books on this stuff. So if there's an effect of slavery, there has to be a mental and psychological effect of people who put these atrocities on you, and it comes down to a sociopathic behavior. So that's why Bush can tear down the country and do what he wants. You see what I'm saying? And they can justify this man lying to them every day. But because he's white and because they're white, they know that there can't be anything wrong. So they're spoiled by the fatted calf. And that is what's moving them out of the picture. You see what I'm saying? They will never be able to come out of Iraq. Never. You think that they are into a black hole. As long as they're into the black hole, they have entered that, they will never be able to come out of that. I told the people that 3 years ago. I said they will never be able to come out of Iraq. And it's 3 years, and what is
They made up that lie to go in there when they knocked down the Twin Towers in New York City. They went thinking that they were going to win. They lost.
Bush say the other day? I think when they asked him about getting them out, he said, well, you're going to have to ask somebody who comes after me that question. He said, that is for some future president to come after me. Because, hey, it ain't on my watch. They're going to stay the damn course. But that's what his boss, the British intelligence, told him. The British, the Queen, or whatever, the Queen said, look, Dodie Fayed, fuck Diana, excuse the expression, and got her pregnant with an Arab child, and therefore, I'm against Islam. See what I'm saying? I'm against Islam. That's one of them. See, it's a ritual with them. It's like a chess game. Or you did this, and I have to do this, and you can be trying to rationalize the same. Well, that's irrational for you to say that the queen can turn against some people and subjugate a whole race of people based on something personal that happened to their particular society, their court, or their, or their structure. No, that's the way you think. That's not the way the people that's been playing a chess game for you for years. You understand the thing? You get one little personal thing, and they go, look, hey, let's lock down all of Islam. You see what I'm saying? And make it our enemy. We have to have enemies anyway. The wall came down in Russia. You see what I'm saying? That's not the enemy no more. You see what I'm saying? We gotta have enemies. So and you say, look, this guy went into the house of Windsor, and so therefore all Arabs have to pay. Anybody see V for Vendetta yet? You gotta see the movie. Because in the movie, what happened? They broke in a person's house and said they found a Quran in the house, and as a result, He had to pay because the Quran was outlawed. You see what I'm saying? So we got to understand this particular mindset to understand that this is all a game. And so, yes, he can keep those people there forever. You see what I'm saying? Forever. So I'm going ahead of myself, but it's just interesting how these things go. And we're going to go into a lot of stuff we got to get into because it's one thing to discuss what's happening with them. We know that it's the same game every day, but we need to also discuss our research, and we need to also discuss our progress. You see what I'm saying? It's there. It's progressive, and things are actually working. So I will say this before I pull libation. I went from 1992 when I started, right after the LA riots. Well, actually, it was the day after the LA riots. I stood up and spoke to Steve Coakley, and that started a chain of events. And then I was 30 at the time, and it started a chain of events. And then by June that year, I started lecturing. We had to get out a lot of information, a lot of bibliography, a lot of books, and go through a lot of systems and a lot of things that our people was not privy to. We had to reopen all of these mysteries that the Europeans had hid and call it New Age, metaphysical, and all the occult. And understand that this is just our mysteries, you see what I'm saying, with a new name on it. Western tradition and stuff like that. But what we're dealing with now here is, even in the research, the entire time I was doing this, it was never about lecturing the people. That's why I was successful by doing it. It was about my research. It was about trying to see results. So as a result, in 2000, people were like, well, why aren't you lecturing on the things you lectured about in the 90s? I said, I already lectured on them in the 90s. It's about ongoing research. And you research. You come on through. You see what I'm saying? Come on through, don't matter, we put you on the spot like that. See what I'm saying? It's about ongoing research. So therefore, but with research, there have to be results. So we're going to go into the actual results of things that's actually happening. So by the 2000s, what used to be information, knowledge, theory, and uncovering all this by the 2000s, it started locking into initiations under a particular aspect of experiences. Certain things that's happening to certain humans and certain black people, and even in my own initiation and my thing. The whole thing was an initiation, but by 2000, the actual gods started to wake up, and that is talking about going to a higher level inwardly. So we want to go into these results on things that is actually happening. And in order to do this, it has to be broken down on a simple level, because it's the things that we miss. It's just like this picture here that we see right here. The brother asked me, he said, well, you got all these up here. Why do you got all these pictures? And these pictures are for sale. These are rare pictures. We're going to be showing these tonight in the visual aspect. And the guy said, well, why do you have this Marvin Gaye up there? Why do you have this Marvin Gaye? See if we can get this right here. Why do you have this Marvin Gaye up with all that? I said, why not? He's a muse, and if you understand the whole concept of muse, you go to a museum. The muse is music. You get a muse. The muse is the archetype that's the most important. And the muse has run our civilization, especially in the modern world. It's been about the muse more than it's been about technology for us. The muse, the creativeness, which is the direct link with your own inner body, whenever you can create. And none other than this particular man that they took out in 1984, they killed him. There was another person in the room. Very key that you understand how they do these things. They did it to Betty Shabazz. Her grandson supposedly had burned her up. There's always another person in the room. Her father was crazy or whatever. There was another person in the room. And they kill these people and say, now you can't never say nothing about what really went down. Everybody dies. You got to understand the science. He said, well, why did they want to kill this particular person? Because he had tapped into the tantric mysteries or the ancient tantric mysteries of ancient Africa and on into ancient India, which is basically Kushite. One thing that Drusilla Dundee Houston's book, Wonderful Ethiopians in the Ancient Kushite Empire, she wrote that in the 1930s, a black woman. See what I'm saying? That you all got to understand that the India thing ain't nothing but Ethiopia.
That's right.
Kush. You see. So now the tantric mysteries came from inner Africa, which is the mysteries of sex, sexual alchemy, and tantra, which is the mysteries of sex. And he was tapping into that. He started with the first level was sexual healing, which won the Grammy. First Grammy he won. You see what I'm saying? Because one of his biggest hits, Let's Get It On, the white folks, you know, they always pick somebody we don't like. So Lou Rawls got the Grammy that night over Marvin Gaye. Always off. You see, I ain't saying Lou Rawls ain't what he's supposed to be. You know, that's one of our gods too. You see what I'm saying? But he messed up when he got that second white girl. She really played a fool for him in his funeral the other time. Had him up there with a purple suit on and a purple hat turned back. Something that is not even indicative of his era. But then again, that's a ritual white folks do. Get into some of that also. You see. But the key here is we're talking about a person who was getting ready to tap into a higher level of information and giving the people certain information and certain things spiritually. And as a result, they took him out. So it's not by mistake you get a billboard and you say, well, it's a Hennessy commercial. Well, who else gonna pay for something? You're not gonna put him up on a billboard across the United States. I don't give a damn if it's Van Camp, Poking Beans. Just for the simple fact you see that black God up there that your children can say, Daddy, who is that? You see what I'm saying? Yeah. You say, hey, that's the man that brought you here. Who was playing that music that night, and me and your mama got it on.
That's right.
You see what I'm saying? We don't raise our gods up. So who cares by me? But that's the way the spirit world always does things. You see what I'm saying? So we're talking about the creating thing. I'm going ahead of myself. When we post the libations, I'm gonna put the goddess segment back up because this is a lecture about her. It's part of it. You know, we're gonna pull this libation and get some real powerful stuff going to offset the ritual that's being done. Let's see, I have to focus on it. You know, we got this light up here, so you're just gonna have to just bear with it. You can see it. And we're gonna pull this and we're gonna just give a brief, I even got some guards right here, you can call it. And we're gonna give a brief, invocation of libation, and we're gonna give this, and then we're gonna get on into the lecture. So let's do this to give you God's this. You know, and I want some very powerful arches to really offset the energy when these people touch down. Look, this man, let me explain something about the president. This man is an idiot. So that means his job is ceremonial. Understand this. Notice he ain't coming here to see about nothing financial or nothing that has something to do with the city running. That's already done by the hierarchy who rule the world, and it ain't in America.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? So that means his job is ceremonial. That means his job is also ceremonial magic. You understand what I'm saying? He's playing the Horus figure. How is Bush playing the Horus figure? Osiris died and was defeated by Set. Then his son rises up and avenged the father. Well, Bush Sr. was defeated, you understand what I'm saying, in 92. And his son comes back as Horus to avenge the father. Everything is based on ritual. Understand the ritual. He's acting as Horus. You know that? He got him a black woman. Condoleezza Rice. See what I'm saying? A real witch. In the magical sense I'm talking about. You see what I'm saying? in the magical sense. So know how these things go. It's a whole ritual. And never look at the apparent. These people are nothing about what you think they are about based on the political scene. You see, it's all ceremonial. So whenever he comes and it's ceremonial, you best believe it's for a ritual. Like they say, downtown is a pyramid. What is this whole thing? Right. So they come for a certain ritual. Even the race, the Indiana, 5,000 or whatever that shit is. 500 or whatever. That's a race. That is a ritual every year. You understand what I'm saying? Everything is a ritual. Now, they put on the flyer about the city of Heliopolis. Heliopolis is where the Egyptian priesthood of On used to be in order. And the priesthood of On was under the priesthood of Tahuti. Tahuti is the god of wisdom, magic, chemistry, alchemy, science. So don't you have chemistry? Don't you have Lilly Pharmaceutical? Eli Lilly? You understand what I'm saying? So the Heliopolis is chemistry. So everything has got something to do with what used to be in our world. They break this thing down masonically here. So it didn't have the world of America is under pharmaceutical tyranny. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? So therefore, this is their priesthood of On, Heliopolis. The same Tahuti in which Imhotep was a priest of Tahuti. You can find that in the Hermetic text when he's talking to Tot. Tahuti, Tot-on, he's talking to Tot, Imhotep, which is Asclepius. You see, he's talking to Tot, and Tot is telling him where the prophecy on us going into slavery came from 5,000 years before it actually happened, is in those Hermetic texts. You see what I'm saying? So this city is a carbon copy of those particular, the priesthood of On or Heliopolis. You see, just like Memphis, Tennessee is the actual Memphis, Kemet. Yes. You see, Atlanta is Atlantis. Well, you say, well, how is that? Well, they said that the history is it used to be up under water. And the Stone Mountain is one of the highest points in America. As far as land, not the mountains, but the way the land is based on land mass. You see, so a lot of things is going on. So all this stuff is ritualistic. You see what I'm saying? It's ritualistic. So you have ceremonies going on. Don't you have basketball, baseball, football here? Those are ritualistic ceremonies. So everything is everything, but it is not what is to be the apparent, what appears to be. Never look at the apparent. You see what I'm saying? Never look at the apparent stuff. And one of the other things is the apparent is you focus on black people doing bad. You focus on something that you can't change. You can only change you and the ones that correspond to you, and ultimately, you see what I'm saying? There will be a redemption of all our people, but not necessarily in the physical. You see what I'm saying? Because that's what these Book of the Gates is talking about. It ain't talking about a Mercedes in every parking lot. Because we are the richest people in the world. I'm downtown Harlem on a Monday morning, and it's packed. I mean, it's got literally hundreds of people walking around. I'm like, dang, how do these people not work? Buying on Monday morning just as packed as it was Saturday in so-called Harlem. Black people got money. You understand what I'm saying? Black people got money, and even if you look at a project, housing project, that's a condominium in some part of the world. Even the base, do you know that the Britons and most of the Europeans don't live as well as black people in America? If you go there, you see the little houses that they live in Britain, in Europe, and Scotland, and stuff like that. They don't live on the same level. You see what I'm saying? They don't have the resources. You see what I mean? So my point here is the whole concept of black people doing bad is something that somebody tells you that. It's just like most polls and stuff that you get about black people doing bad is the government giving you this reality, and you making a damn reality. They say, oh, you doing bad. You see what I'm saying? Now, I'm not talking about somebody that's on drugs and done got knocked off, and I'm not necessarily trying to put sweet poverty under the rug. But my point here is it's only a matter of perspective. You see what I'm saying? Because Because like I say, we didn't know we was poor until I grew up and somebody told us we was poor. It's a matter of perspective. You see what I'm saying? You know, hell, Checkers got burgers for 99 cents. Checkers got burgers. So I'm not telling you to go out and eat that bullshit to burn your brain up, but I'm just trying to say, if a nigga want to get sad in America, he ain't got the bone but 4 quarters, and it's a done deal. If you want a chicken sandwich, just bun 4 more quarters. You can just live to say, look, I'm going to get my 2 quarters in the morning. I'm going to get 8 quarters in the morning. I'm going to get 8 quarters in the goddamn evening. Excuse me, I want a milkshake, I just bum a couple more quarters. It's really not rocket science. The problem is America eats too much. You see what I'm saying? So it's not about poverty in the sense of whatever. Now, if you talk about the rap commercials telling you that you need bling bling, you see what I'm saying? And then why is it that every time somebody gets some jewelry or somebody give me some jewelry, other than the spiritual stuff I got on, it's good for about the first hour. And then after that, I just don't, it doesn't hold any significance. You know, you got a ring on and you go, this is really nothing. I couldn't live without this thing, and it's just it's a trinket. So my point here is it's only an illusion. Somebody telling you that this bling bling is important. And we got drawers of this stuff. You see what I'm saying? Dresser drawers full of bling bling and stuff, and we just need a new product. It's only an illusion. It's not real. I don't want to preach to you all. Well, let's go into this. I know it's going to be a good one. We ain't got many hours, but it's going to be a good one whenever I start preaching before I do these libations. Well, let's give some of these some juice. Because we got a lot of stuff to cover and a lot of pictures and stuff, you see. And, you know, we just going to have to, you know, do the 2-day event the next time or whatever, you see. But we can always do this. Y'all all right? Okay, let's do this. I got to be careful with this one here now. But what's the library myself with this one? That's the honor. This is the real life theory. Real magical. No serious business. This sister here is a real magical sister here. You know, real magical sister, you know. But you know, like them fairies and stuff can be real dangerous too. You know. But I'm telling you, so we have people. She's an artist and she's, you know, all types of things. But we have people among us that have a great amount of talent. You see what I'm saying? But we can't let the greater society define what our talent is.
That's true.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
What I can give you somebody like a Tiger Woods and you say, oh, that's talent. No, that's just one picture frame of our history and a fragment of what our greatness is. You see what I'm saying? They'll say Tiger Woods, but that's another black one on there. BJ Singh is just as good as Tiger Woods, and he's blacker than Tiger Woods. You don't call him black, but they come from the same origin. See what I'm saying? You see, they're real quiet about him. You see, they're real quiet about him. So, you know, there's a lot of things going on. You see, so, but my point here is we can't let things define us, you know, of what our talent is. You see, and we can't say, because we're not getting accolades to what society says is the people that's got the real deal talent. We got some real talented. I walked in Sanua house and her husband, we did the floors. And I'm looking at this thing, I'm like, dang, man, I ain't seen no floors look like this, but only in them damn office buildings. Dang. You see what I'm saying? Stained them and all this kind of, I'm like, dang, man, this is some real deal talent. We got all kind of stuff that niggas can do. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. I'm just saying on a certain level, and that ain't nothing, that's a form of, that's an art form. You see what I'm saying? That's an art form. All of a sudden, I just only been cooking about 10 years, but all of a sudden, within the 2000s, I become a cook, and I done tried this stuff out. Everybody done came to my house, and how do you do it? I said, I don't know. I go in the kitchen, and the spirit takes over, And I said, I don't, it's like playing the piano by ear or what they used to say. I said, I don't know how I do it. I said, but whenever I cook, I ain't never cooked it before. When it come out, it's a gourmet meal. And it's from the spirit realm. So we got all kinds of, you know what I'm saying? All kinds of talent. You see, so we got to do this. So let's really do this right now. Okay, y'all. Give me a good ashe right quick. Okay, give me a loud one. That's the tone we want to deal with. You ready? Okay, Osa. I say Jehudi. I say Maya. I say Ra. I say Pata. I say Seth. I say Nagara. I say Sandubit. I say Heru. I say Rahaku. I say Hamaku. I say Amaku. I say Sebek. I say Sobek. I say Sabu. I say Sabu. I say Anubis. I say Andrew. I say Asset. I say Nephi. I say Nepher. I say Gesta. I say Moku. I say Nobu. I say Mara. I say Leki. I say Nobu. I say Oticha. I say Oticha. I say Sheola. I say Tiaja. I say Omagumu. I say Shuma. I say Kakambo. I say Lamado. I say Alcala. I say Lokeo. I say Bell. I say Bell. I say Mesh. I say Brahmin. I say Vishnu. I say Lakshmi. I say Ravini. I say Ramadana. I say Shiva. I say Indra. I say Hannibal. I say Sita. I say Lakshmi. I say Ganesha. I say Lolita. I say Sekta. I say Sati. I say Maya. I say Suki. I say Emanuel. I say Mamashi. I say Bridget. I say Anuwati. I say Razuli. I say Eduardo. I say Saka. I say Alaki. I say Ebuka. I say Yemenia. I say Bishop. I say Oshun. I say Artemis. I say Hermes. I say Aphrodite. I say Jupiter. I say Persephone. I say Alpheus. I say Shakwa. I say Upali. I say Beth. I say Pain. I say Panhandle. I say Valenta. I say Nam. I say Ewa. I say Opa. I say Nama. I say Kuan Yin. I say Sarah. I say Ava. I say Sariel. I say Mars. I say Mars. I say Venus. I say Mercury. I say Diana. I say Apollo. I say Venom. I say Venom. I say Venom. I say Watson. I say Takshini. I say Sebek. I say Inanna. I say Pazuzu. I say Melska. I say Anima. I say Luigi. I say Ogana. I say Opa. I say Lewawa. I say Yuko. I say Shivasta. I say Emily. I say Worthy. I say Mithra. I say let me give a good one out to the god Orpheus. We're going to talk about him tonight. Orpheus. I say Abraxas. I say Aphra. I say Heru. I say Atan. I say Atin. I say Aman. I say Emmanuel. I say Ben. I say Jonathan. I say Sahu. I say Bass. I say Bass. I say Butchers. I say Shadows. I say Shababu. I say Kentucky. I say Ayani Hotep. I say Borsatech. I say Kali. I say Tara. I say Gertha. I say let's see a few other ones. The All God, I say, I'll be talking like Maya, I say, check Maya, I say, Lava, I say, I'm not the country, I say, Heruaha, I say, Wansepi, I say, you, I say, Acton, I say, Tyre, I say, Tayama, I say, Tebu, I say, Mamu, I say, Mamu, I say, Timu, I say, Apsu, I say, On, I say, Anu, I say, Vanessa, I say, Metatron, I say, Metronet, I say, Lilith, I say Samuel, Lilitu, Layla, I say Tammuz, I say Tamuzi, I say let's see, Medaratan, I say Menesra, Tetragrammaton, I say Edoedo, I say Saint Martha, I say Lasarine, I say Aquaini, I say I think that'll do it for right now. Baphomet, I say Samson, I say Radar, I say Diopan, Dionysus, I say Bacchus, I say Fanny, I say Eros, I say Psyche, I say Tristan, I say Jason, I say Medea, I say you're thinking Medea the movie. They named that Medea, which is a goddess. A goddess. You really want to see the real one? Get Jason in the Argonaut 1963, Jason in the Argonaut 2000, you'll see the real Medea in there working magic. But then again, that black woman kicking ass looked like some sisters I used to grow up with. So it resonated with me with the movie and stuff. But you went in there. Anybody saw the movie? But do you? When she went in that bag and pulled out them belts, if you ain't seen it, it resonated with me. I know some black women like that because my grandma and mama used to be that way. But anyway, to all God's known and unknown, I'm going to call on my Henry family, Shaw family, Davis family, my Queen's family, my Goddess family. I want to get that right. And I want you to call your family members out. 1, 2, 3, start calling out family members that's passed and made the transition. Ashe, 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 Ashe. To all ancestors known and unknown, Ashe. I want to give a special shout out to a guy called Hanuman. Also, we got a black Buddha up there that we're going to deal with. Like I said, these pictures that you see up here are for sale. They're $5 each. And they're not just mere Xerox pictures. Not just mere Xerox pictures. Some of these pictures, I got a picture of a black Buddha, cost me $200 just to get that picture of a Buddha up there. And I'll show it. You don't have to look. I'm going to show them on the overlays, on the overheads, so you can see. This is the real how Buddha really looked. Look more like Chris Rock. That's the real Buddha. And stuff, you see what I'm saying? So, you see that? That's Buddha. So, my point here is, so we got a lot of pictures. We'll be going through some of these, and when we go into the actual lecture, and these things got a lot of energy. Now, one thing about it is we got one, which is that Goddess Lakshmi that I showed. A lot of people bought that and had a lot of prosperity. So if you alien in the money department, you want to get you one of them Lakshmis, and there's 2 or 3 different ones you want to get. And a couple of other ones I'm going to go into in a few minutes. You want to get a hold. You say, what is it going to do? I'm telling you, these things here, the spirits come. And so what it is there's gods and goddesses from around the world that's coming, and they want to be with one people, the Africans in the diaspora, and mainly the African Americans in the consciousness. You see what I'm saying? So it's not just the Egyptian or the African thing. We got them coming from China, Japan, India, Mexico. All from these entities are coming, and these spirits want to dwell with one people, the head of the snake, which is the black conscious on the planet. You see what I'm saying? So you got double backup for the entities that want to commune with you and help you. Now let me give you an example. Y'all all right? Yeah. Give me an example. Let me show you this. Let me see if we can get this. Here's a picture of a goddess, Kuan Yin, from China, Asia, Thailand, Japan, by way of India, and on into Africa.
It's not showing up.
It's not showing up real good?
Give you that light thing.
Yeah, okay. Let me show you. Now, y'all all right? Because I want to show you this. To show you what we're dealing with here. We're not dealing with just getting information about different deities we can't do nothing about. We're dealing with actual progress here. What I mean by that is this. For Christmas, this entity showed up. Kuan Yin. Thousands, if not millions, of Asians have statues to her. She's the goddess of compassion. She was killed, went into hell, resurrected on the 3rd day, and gave compassion in his personal savior. Does that story sound familiar? See what I'm saying? Did you get that? Praise the Lord Jesus. Praise the Lord Jesus. Hallelujah.
Thank you.
This is a book called Mythology, The Voyage of the Hero by David Adams Levy. Hell of a book. Mythology, The Voyage of the Hero by David Adams Levy. It is a must-have. It's another book. I'll give you the name of it. It's another one he got called The World of Myth. His name is David Adams Leeming, Leeming. This is a book called Mythology, The Voyage of the Hero. You You want to get this one, and you want to get this other book called The World of Myth by David Adams Leany. And in here, there's a whole thing on Kuan Yin doing the same thing that Jesus did. Get the story, how this story is around the world, but they got you thinking it's some Jew boy. You see what I'm saying? They came along and did it thousands of years after Horus did it, Mithra did it, Abraxas did it, Orpheus did it, and Orpheus is a Messiah figure. And this is why he's saying, well, why would they kill Marlon Gaye? Well, I'm going to go into Orpheus, and you understand that the Greeks, the Africans, the Romans, and all of them believe that one of the saviors, one of the forms of the messiahs that would come through music. See what I'm saying? There was a book called Messiahs of the Dead Sea Scrolls, and then I realized, oh, there's about 20 different messiahs. It's not just one messiah. They got a messiah teacher. You see what I'm saying? There's a Messiah teacher, a Messiah father. They got different levels of Messiahs. And these are nothing but the different talents in our community. You understand what I'm saying? In our community. I know a nigga used to could put his hand on the engine of the car and the damn car would start up. That's a Messiah. So, man, I said, man, and this brother was a crackhead. He said, well, they tell you in the book the Nephilim, which is us. The Nephilim is the ancient ones.
That's right.
The ancient ones that rule the earth. They say the great old ones and the ancient ones. They say, well, where are the Nephilims now? They say you'll find them in jail. Because their souls are so old until they don't rest with just the everyday average life and they tired of it. So you'll find them in jails and around the liquor store. See what I'm saying? So, I don't know where I was going with this. Anyway, there's several messiahs. Well, one of them, this is Kuan Yin. So in November, I woke up and I told my queen, I said, oh, you gotta stop. You got 5 minutes. I told my queen, I said, yeah, you gotta put another tape in. I told my queen, I said, is Kuan Yin trying to get in touch with me? And so she did the channel and said, yes, she's trying to get in touch with you. So then Kuan Yin said, well, I said, what do you want? You want me to buy a big statue I saw downtown? She said, no, I want a picture. So I looked through all the books and couldn't find the picture. And I had one book that I paid like $50 for, walked outside and the book fell apart. It was so old. The binding fell apart, but it had every picture I needed in it. I did it in Chicago. Okay. The last page in the book, which is like 300 pages, this picture came up. Very ancient statue. And she said, I want a picture. I said, dang, now what is this? Because what she wanted to do, she knew that I was taking these ancient pictures and selling them and giving them to the people. And she said, I want to go with the black people who buy this picture. So now, I went to Ohio. I told them, I said, look, you need to get this picture here because this goddess came all the way thousands of miles. You want to be with black people. Then she came. I did a lecture in Houston on March 4th. And I was in the plane. That was about 3 weeks ago. And on the back of the plane, they said, look, this is a goddess of compassion. And she will help people. She said, now just imagine, if I'm the goddess of compassion and I help thousands of Asians, and I want to deal with the African, especially the African American community.
One thing that in their plan with the pandemic, of course, they are actually rushing their plan. They have rushed their plan. You can tell you can tell and examining as they make their moves with the vaccine, even before the vaccine, when they were telling of how this thing had spread. And you can see within what moves they made so thus far through such as how it didn't affect Africa, but still their attentions was on Africa. And their intentions, like he said, they're always paying attention to us. Always. It's no such thing as them having enemies outside of the European Union. It's a union. So they're not at odds necessarily. They may have in-house fighting on who's going to control what, in what way, what manner of control. But other than that, they are very much more together than we are. So when we look at the moves they're making, it's all rushed. It's obvious, too obvious and rushed. And we know what happens with plans when you rush them. It's doomed to fail. And they are always on the losing end. Always on the losing end. It's just nature. It's just nature. And, things are too obvious, way too obvious. Especially how they're pushing out the vaccine upon us. They're really trying to get us to do something. But just like they wouldn't do anything with reparations, we're sticking to our guns. We're sticking to our guns. Just like they, with our reparations, no, then it's a no on our end as well for their vaccinations, at least us who are sole survivors. Now, there's going to be those who are willing to give up their souls, and that's just the nature of it all. They're giving up something that they know nothing of. So in not really fully knowing anything about themselves. It does nothing for them. So they're just lost, living in vain. But those who stick to our guts on everything are the real soul winners. So are the ones who are determined to rise, even though throughout time they have artificially made us focus on the physical symbols of the spiritual and think that we couldn't obtain these things. These things we already have. That's our perception. That's why we perceive things the way we perceive things if it's not altered. They want to always alter our perception. But our true perception, true way of seeing things is the wealth It is yours. It's ours. And when you see them trying to alter our perception, that's how you know that you need to do the opposite of what they say. Think and see things the opposite of the way they're trying to gear you towards seeing things. So, with that said, family, I'm going to close out. So, thank everybody for coming out and showing out. Guy Nollywood Jr., thank you. Donnie, thank you. He says, Hotep, light bearer. And Donnie says, peace, power, light. Peace, power, love, light, and unity to my A1 family. Most deaf. Most deaf. And that guy from Texas, great seeing you. Peace. Lady E, she says, this is exactly how I've been thinking. I just tuned up my bike. Yes. Nothing like a good old-fashioned bike ride. Letting the breeze blow in your face. Yes, ain't nothing like it. And then skating. And she brought some skates. Yes, go out and do that. Definitely. I'll go to the roller rink, and that brought back a lot of memories. Of course, I still have the same issue with skating in there. The floor is too fast for me. It's too, yeah, I rather skate. I'm a sidewalk skater. I skate better on the sidewalk and the streets. Way better. I feel better when I do it like that. But you put me in a roller rink, it's like I end up falling on my butt anyways. Emmanuel Briggs, D. Calico, welcome. Yes. Eddie B said, Joe Biden picked a transgender man turned woman for the U.S. Secretary of Education. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's to be expected. They're trying to be in control of everything. They're trying to be in control of our spirituality as well, the unseen world and the physical world. They want to gain control. They're doing, like I said, everything is symbolized. All we perceive and see are symbols of our true reality, of the spiritual world, the world of energy, the world of dreams. So they are trying to control that with us, right? Donnie says facts. D. Calico said peace. Definitely great seeing you, Emmanuel. Thank you, Donnie. Thank you, Donnie. And with that said, family, true love, real peace, the higher self within, our soul, which we must connect with, not allow ourselves to be separated from, and and rise ourselves above these challenges, above this existence, so that we can move and transform to the next level of challenges, family. Peace and love. Great night.